Oh, we live. What's up, everyone? It's your girl, KDK, a.k.a. Ivy, whatever people want to call me on a different day. I'm proud to be here today, with this awesome, wonderful woman. You know, a lot of her may know her as a media personality. Some know her as an assistant for one of the biggest DJs in New York City. I personally just know her as Amber Lee. She is a domestic violence advocate who has dedicated her life to spread the message to all survivors that loving yourself is actually possible. I take this meaning with me quite seriously because there's a lot of people that are close to me or people that have worked with me. I came out with my survivor story technically 2 years ago. Um, I was raped by my brother's best friend, and with that, it came a lot of ramifications. A lot of things came out, and it really took a horrible turn on my life. And to see someone who's promoting themselves in a positive light and trying to spread a positive message to just everyone, and to show women that they are more than their trauma, is something, that should be highlighted and should be celebrated. And especially with Women's Month literally around the corner, there was no better time to have our lovely guest here than right now. So everyone, Amber Lee, founder of The Beast Within.
Hi guys, hope you guys are doing well. My name is Amber Lay.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's just I'm Vietnamese, so it's Lay. So when you say Lee, people think I'm Chinese, but that's fine. People get it messed up all the time. Yes, I am the founder of The Beast Within. I started it 2 years ago. It was formerly called Pain into Power. And for me, I just felt like it was time to level up, especially after the pandemic that we've been in for a year now. It was definitely pulling out a different side of me. But thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm so happy that you shared your story. It
Yeah.
was very heartfelt, and it's a lot. But the first step to healing is being heard, like I always say.
It is, and I sit here, you know, thinking about it because that's what really got me to come outside more. I guess you want to say the pandemic. It had me really think about what had happened to me, how it shaped me. As a rape survivor, the one thing I always dealt with was my image. Like, I felt, because it happened to me when I was 17 years old. Literally, it was happening as it turned into my birthday.
I'm so sorry.
So my birthday has different meanings for me. I've come to this point now after almost 10 years that I can still celebrate my birthday. I can still do this. But many women still deal with the whole issue. Like, okay, he raped me. Did this make me any less of a woman now? Did this make me less beautiful? Did this make me less kind? Did this change me completely? And I want to know, what are your thoughts on that and everything, like, especially the fellow survivor.
So I you don't become less of a woman. You shouldn't be any less proud of yourself. You are still beautiful. You are still strong. And I want women to understand that it's not, stop blaming yourself and stop faulting yourself. I don't care if you were outside in a G-string bikini walking the streets of New York. At the end of the day, that is your entitlement. That is your privilege to do so because it is your body. And no one should be allowed to touch you in any way without your consent. And I am a rape survivor as well. I didn't realize it until, a couple years after, when it was because I was blaming myself. So while everyone is out there trying to be like, oh, she's a hoe, little do you know, this man forced himself on me, someone who I thought I could trust, in a hotel room. And then he made jokes about it after I told him this is not what I want. And I blamed myself for the longest because I shouldn't have met up with him at that hotel room. We should have watched movies somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And it hurts me so bad that I became so bitter and so mean. And I shouldn't. I'm 30 years old now, and
God bless you. You don't look it, sweetie.
thank you so much. I'm 30 years old now, and I finally began to realize when I was probably 28, 29, that what these men do is a projection of how they feel, not how you feel. You could be love and light and all of this amazing stuff, but if a man is threatened by that, men feel powerful when they get to take advantage of us. That's why there's so much domestic violence going on, because their upbringing, not excusing anything at all, their upbringing defines who they are. So either you become a product of your environment or you become better. And a lot of men become products of their environment. And then it goes back to us women, where our generation, the here and now, me, you, all the other survivors that are speaking out, we are meant to break generational curses. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not here to feel ashamed of the fact that I was raped. I'm not here to feel ashamed of the fact that I was sexually assaulted more than once in my life. I'm not here to feel ashamed that somebody beat my ass because he was so much of a coward that he couldn't look in the mirror and face his own demons. So he took out his anger on me and on other women as well. So I just want you to understand that love yourself, because there's no reason not to. Don't let the perpetrator win, because when you stop loving yourself and you become miserable and bitter and sad and you don't believe in love and you don't believe in men and you don't believe in other women, he won. Don't let him win.
We know personally our own indicators as to how we felt and how we expressed that we had a trauma, right? We've lashed out, we've done this. And I believe, obviously being such a high caliber and spreading this story, and the message, you've worked with psychologists and psychiatrists, obviously, who've dealt with this on a professional level. What are the indicating signs, like if, let's say, someone is going through this, for us to help them?
So when isolation is one of the biggest ones, when you see somebody who you're used to being social, who you're used to going out all the time, and all of a sudden they disappear and they stop. They stop contacting you. They stop showing up to places. Like, if you're really somebody's friend and somebody's family, you can kind of look at them and tell, like, the glow is gone from her eyes. One of the main things for me was I was very jumpy. You know what I'm saying? I was very jumpy. Everything I did, I was like walking on eggshells, even to the point where I would just be scared to just walk out my house, or scared to just post up a picture. You know what I'm saying? Anybody who isolation is the biggest thing, because that's the first step. So once you catch that, you can kind of begin to piece together everything else, like the lack of communication is a huge one, and that goes back to isolation as well. Not dressing up as much as you used to, not wearing your makeup, and not, like self-love things that women do that all of a sudden they just stop doing. That's a huge red flag. So look out for that.
I remember when I went through my situation, I still keep calling it that. Um, at first, because I was so young, I didn't even realize what happened. Um,
Right.
my grandmother told me, which kind of didn't help me in the end, right? Just go clean yourself, take a shower, you know, you'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I come from Greek families. So when I go and I talk to my counselor and she explained what had happened to me, because I had the bruises, on my arms, on my neck. And we're talking about June in the middle of the summer, and you see me walking around with a hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
How do I explain this, to my mom? Well, I was at home alone, studying for school. How do I explain I got all these bruises on my arm and on my birthday?
Right.
Um, what was the your develop? So I'm trying to put this in a right way. The process of you getting back to yourself, or the beast within you.
So my situation, my domestic violence situation happened 6, 7 years ago.
Okay.
Um, like I said, I didn't really begin to truly love myself until I was like 28. And throughout the years before then, I knew I had to heal. Like, I knew my problem is I kept trying to be the woman that I was before it happened. And you can't be, because that is such a traumatic thing that you can't go back to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't go back to interning for NFL radio. I can't go back to Seton Hall and redo my junior and senior year. Like, I can't do any of that anymore. It's not an option. So the only option is to move forward and to become better. Because you know what? I'm not the same woman. I'm so much stronger. I'm so much wiser. I have so much to give, so much to live for. And I'm no longer bitter. I'm no longer miserable. Because you know what? Within those past years, I just did things that I loved. Not only did I do things that I loved, but I picked up new habits. Like 3 years ago, I started going to the gym. I think probably over 3 years ago. And a lot of my self love came from that, mostly because, not because of the physical aspect, like, yeah, I look, but the discipline that comes with it, the different ways that you can express yourself. Like, I needed a healthy outlet for my anger, and the gym was that. Self-defense classes was that. You know what I'm saying? Like, physically hitting, punching, lifting heavy weights. It honestly, that's probably the healthiest way I can let out my anger. And then a lot of journaling, you know. And I stopped journaling when I was younger, mostly because my mom would like try to go into my room and read my stuff or whatever. You know how moms are.
Of
But
course.
mhm. But now that I'm older and now that I live on my own, I journal a lot. And for me, my self-healing journey really started with the gym. Like I said, it was about how I felt after a workout. You know what I'm saying? And everybody is different. Like, you could have poetry, or you could have writing a book, or you can, go on a hike, and people have different forms of self-love for themselves. So it's not just one way, but what the beast within is about is awakening that monster within you, that beautiful beast within you, and clawing her out and letting her become her full potential. Stop hiding her. You have to face her. She wants to come out. It's time. You know what I'm saying?
How do you feel like you know when it's time, honestly?
It's never not time. When you're ready, you'll know. Like, when you're so down and out and you're so sick and tired of being this sad person, this angry person. And this is why I say it all comes back to you and your self reflection. That's why we call it self love. And you want to stop feeling like, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse, but you
Go
want to
for it.
stop feeling like shit. You want to stop beating yourself up over these past situations, and you want to move forward and you want to conquer the world and you want to chase your dreams, that's when you claw her out. If you don't want to claw her out, you can sit there and be miserable. You can sit there and let this motherfucker win for what he did to you. You're letting him win. Why are you letting somebody else control your life and how you feel about yourself when you know you're fucking beautiful? You know what I'm saying? When you know what you're capable of and you don't even realize your potential because you're so sad all the time and you're so angry all the time.
And that's a good point you bring up, right? Because I'll say this even on behalf of myself. And I have my friends, my clients, even my ex boyfriend, who I'm still friends with, right? Um, they say sometimes I get too negative about certain situations,
Right.
or I hear something about a certain situation and it could take me back to what I went through. But to me, it's like people don't understand what we've been through. So it gives us a different view of life.
Mm-hmm.
So while people think, oh, this girl looks like this, so she should, that's why she's making money. Like personally, like while I see people empowering their bodies, like yes, I love that part. But then you see some people that are kind of just doing it for the clout and this and that. How we kind of promote the actual self love within our community. That is not just a clout thing. It's okay. I've been negative, but I'm trying to also help you see the other side of it. That
Mm-hmm.
it's not just about the clout. It's not just about being in a song or whatever either. Maybe it's just a good idea. Hey, maybe she has a nice smile. Have we all thought of that? Like, why does it have to be our body that's marketing us?
Mm-hmm. Well, I wouldn't really say that's why I say self-love is internal as well. And
Yeah,
that's why I brought up fitness, not so much because of the body image, but
yeah.
because of the feeling that you get when you're in the zone and you go up in weights. Like for me, I'll do 180 on legs, right? On a leg machine. And if I'm able to do 4 reps of 200, that's a goal to me, and that makes me feel fucking good as hell. And I also say this because a lot of people, and I just made a post about this where a lot of people is just like self-love, look at me, I'm happy, I'm good, that's not realistic, like, at all. And that's why I sit there and I tell people, talk about your struggles, talk about your insecurities, talk about these days where you don't feel like getting up and getting to the bag. You know what I'm saying? Talk about these days when you're sitting in your room crying for days on end and your eyes are swollen. Talk about those days, you know? Because that's what's real. That's what's authentic. Everybody wants to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, I overcame this. What is really overcoming? Because it's a journey. It's not just a one-time goal and, I love myself. No, yes, I do love myself, but there are days when I'm just like, I wish my titties were bigger. I wish my ass was bigger. You know what I'm saying? But does that mean I don't accept myself and that I don't love myself? No. But do I have insecurities? Yes, I do. And that's okay to show. And that's what so many influencers are not doing. They're not showing the behind the scenes. They're not showing the tears. They're not showing the struggles. But you want to sit here and tell people to love themselves. How, Sway? How? Tell me how. You know?
I mean, I sit here all the time and like, yes, I post like whatever of my photos. I try to be as conscious as I can about what is going on, and it just bothers me sometimes that if you do post that you're upset, or you do post that, yeah, I'm hurting, people take it as a way to take advantage of you. Or even look at the females who are still insecure after what they go through, or females that are just insecure in general. That's like the biggest marker for predators.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, what is it that we could do to help them? Because we're putting our stories up, but clearly something is not resonating. And now that we're in COVID, what more can we do for them?
It's a lot of content. You have to, like I said, sometimes you might have to journal your days. You have to speak from within your heart. But here's what I need you to realize and me to realize and all the survivors that are sharing their stories to realize is that we can preach as much as we want to preach, but until that woman is ready to start a new chapter in her life and to become better and to challenge herself to become better, there's nothing we can do. We can say as many things as we want to say, and we can, just keep hitting them with the truth. and letting them know that the grass is greener on the other side. But until they get out of that mindset, we just got to keep talking about it. And one day it's going to click. There have been women that haven't said a word, and I started this domestic violence thing, preaching about it, talking about it a long time ago. And there are women who are just now beginning to come out and tell me what's been going on after following me for years, because now other women are beginning to talk about it. It's to the point where I do my best to let people realize this is not a shameful thing that you've been through. 1 in 3 women have been through this. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, when it comes to other women being insecure, this is why I always just got to keep preaching. And one day they're just going to wake up and they're going to be like, you know what? I ain't doing this no more. I want to love myself. I want to feel better about me, because you deserve to.
Why the change of name? Because both names are very inspirational.
The change of name. When I started Pain into Power, I was sitting on a mattress on the floor, um, newly moved into wherever I was staying at. And it started out as a self-defense program. But then it became so much more than that, because I wanted to incorporate my media with the self-defense and podcasts and blogs, because it's what I love to do. So I morphed my two into one. And throughout the 2 years the Pain into Power was launched, it did great. I have a lot of support. But I feel like it was just a chapter that I wanted to close, because, like I said, during this pandemic, when I tell you, this pandemic forced a lot of people to sit there and look in the mirror, because you can't go out.
Girl, who are you telling? I'm here like, okay, so you gotta jump out this window right now,
Right.
or I gotta tell my dealer, yo, come on, I need help.
Right. Like, you really got to sit there. This whole pandemic, when we were in lockdown and we weren't allowed to be anywhere with anybody, you have to face yourself. And throughout that is where you claw out the hustler within you, the beast within you, that goddess that's gonna shine through. You gotta let her out. You gotta face those demons and fight all these demons and give her a fighting chance to come out. And that's the beast within. We're on beast mode right now. We can't rely on the government for nothing. We can't sit here and be like, you know what, I'm gonna drink my pain away and go out and party with my girls. No, we can't do that. Well, we shouldn't be doing that anymore. You gotta sit here and face yourself. And I did that. And I cried a lot of tears. I've changed a lot of my habits and my old ways. And I feel like I'm a different person. I feel like I'm a different animal, a different beast. And this is a side of me that's not doubting myself so much anymore. That's not looking in the mirror and saying, oh, you don't look as pretty as you thought you did. You know what I'm saying? It's a different level. It's a different chapter. We already turned pain into power. Let's keep going. Let's level up. That's why I decided to change the beast within. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning when I decided to rebrand. I said, fuck it.
How hard was it for you to really take that leap? Like we say we go to the gym. I go to the gym all the time. Well, I don't go to the gym now. I'm very OCD with that because of COVID, because my mom is a healthcare worker.
Right.
So she's seen the people die right in front of her during those like times of March to like whenever it really calmed down. So we're talking about June, you know. So I go upstairs into the photography studio. It's big enough, you know. I'll put my videos on Roku, start working out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I still find it so weird to fucking journal, to tell you the truth. And
Yeah.
I write it down in the journal. I feel stupid, like I'm talking to myself sometimes.
So, okay. So I do home workouts now too.
Okay.
Because I'm a little iffy about the gym situation as well.
Yeah.
But I do home workouts. They're not as intense. They can be depending on which you choose to do, but home workouts is definitely a thing. In June, it was nice out, so I did a lot of backyard workouts in the
Oh, that
sun.
was that was fun. Me and my friend Ralph, who was my trainer, that's
Mm-hmm.
all we did. We'd go in the
Yeah.
park.
Yes. In the summertime, I'm barely in the gym because I'm always outside working out. I have a bikini on. It's 90 degrees. I'm sweating it all out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just make sure you're hydrated.
Is that hard to work out in a bikini? Like, don't you feel like everything will just come off? Like,
No.
no joke. I just feel like bikinis could they either have strings or stuff like that.
I mean, if you tie them properly, I mean, my bikinis actually fit me, so they're not too small.
Oh,
So, you know, some people wear like smaller size bikinis to make themselves look more thicker,
okay.
which is perfectly fine. I've used that trick before, but I have so many bikinis that fit comfortably that I can work out. And on top of that, I have a lot of privacy in my backyard for the most part. So it's
Okay.
not really an issue. But back to the journaling thing. What I started doing was I started journaling as if I was talking to the universe. I was talking to my ancestors. I was talking to God. That's how I journal because like you, I felt like I was talking to myself and I'm just like, let's try something else. So when I journal, I'm journaling to my ancestors. And I put on meditation music in the background. I'm a huge pothead, by the way. So sometimes sometimes I'll spark a blunt and I'll just chill for a little bit and then I'll journal with my meditation on in the background. So there's different ways to do it. But like I said, a healing process, a healing journey, it's not a one size fits all. It's whatever works best for you. Maybe you don't want to journal. Maybe you want to get in the studio and lay down a track. Maybe you want to write poetry instead. You know what I'm saying? It's different. Maybe you want to read a book that resonates with how you're feeling. So, yeah.
So I see you also have a section for men on the website.
Yes, I do.
And are we talking about now just talking about the mental health stigma for men, or the people you have here saying their survivor stories as well?
Um, when I say so, survivor stories for me isn't just one category.
Yes.
Um, Eric LeGrand is an amazing, amazing person. He was one of the top players at Rutgers football, and he got injured. That left him paralyzed.
Okay.
Now, his story, he was never supposed to move anything below his neck ever again.
Oh, wow.
He wasn't even, they didn't even think he would breathe without a ventilator. He's breathing, he's laughing, he's loving life, he's in his wheelchair, like, and he's gonna walk again. There's no doubt in my mind that Eric LeGrand is going to walk again.
I believe
And
it.
so for me, I started the For Men because I had men hitting me up and requesting that I speak upon more mental health, that I speak upon more along the lines of not shaming men for feeling whatever they're feeling. And the very first big episode I had was actually with Amadeus, which is
I love him.
he's a super producer. He worked with Bad Boy, Trey Songz, everybody you could think of, he's probably worked with. And we went on live, and the outcome was just beautiful. And from then on, I was just like, let me grab some football players. Let me grab some more music executives to join this movement. And so far, it's been really good. I have to come up with more content for men, which I will. So, I'm working on that.
What is the so a lot of people think that men do not hurt as much as they're known to be the predators or whatever the case may be, but men also go through domestic violence. Men also go through rape. You know, what can we do to also highlight that, because a lot of people do not understand that it could happen to men too.
So, as women, it's a little bit easier for us to kind of help them. You know what I'm saying? I actually do have male survivors that are not yet comfortable speaking out on their story because for the same reasons you just named, they're not allowed to feel that way. How are you a man and you got raped by a woman? How are you a man and you got you're in an abusive relationship by a woman and she hits you? And that goes back to women and men becoming one. Stop shaming each other. Always check on your friends, like male, female, whatever it is. When it comes to male speaking out, it's harder for them because the whole world looks at them and they kind of want to cry because the whole world is judging them even more than women when a man comes out and says, yeah, I've been raped, or yeah, I've been in an abusive relationship. And as survivors, especially like me and you and everyone else that's sharing their stories, you just have to talk to them and make sure that they're good and make sure that their mental is good. And if they want to share their story, they are more than welcome to. But I always say when men and women support each other, beautiful things happen. And stop categorizing men into one group. Like, oh, all men are assholes. No, they're not. Like, stop doing that
This
because
song,
then
not all.
not all of them. There are some, I have amazing men in my life. My father is amazing. My best friend is amazing. My bosses are amazing. Shout out to DJ Suss1 and Barry Williams. Like, they've never made me feel uncomfortable. They're in the music industry and they never once tried to put a hand on me. Like, there are great men in this world. And I need women to stop categorizing them into one because that makes them feel like they can't talk to us because if so many of us think this way, who are they going to talk to? So I've really been trying to break the narrative of saying all men are trash. All men are not trash. Just pick a different one.
But this is the thing too, and then we need to change the narrative about our industry, right? Like where you do have people like Rick Ross that said, "I'm not gonna have a female first lady," because at least he was truthful about it. He said he's gonna want to fuck her, like But we have to also no. Let's be real. We have to separate that though, because it's not everyone that will think like him.
Right. Um, for example, Nicki Minaj. I never fucked Wayne, I never fucked Drake. Young Money. So don't even get me started on the music industry because there have been so many times where I willingly lost bonds or opportunities to work with music executives and big names because all they cared about was, oh, she's pretty. I want to see what's up with her. Not what's up with her work ethic, not what's up with her talent and her skills and her education and her mindset, but I want to see what's up with how she looks and if I can get that. And it's really annoying. It's really aggravating. It really makes me feel disrespected. And now it's gotten to the point where, hey, listen, I'm DJ Suss1's executive assistant. I don't give a fuck about what you got to offer me. Because at the end of the day, this job that I have, this career that I have, building with someone as respectful as he is towards all women, by the way, not just me, he's extremely respectful. Seeing somebody like that lets me know, and mind you, he's a DJ for Power 105, Mariah Carey, and Wendy Williams. That's three of the biggest names that you could drop
Yeah.
in the nation. There's no man out there in whatever position that's going to make me feel like I have to stoop down to be less than what I am to accommodate his motherfucking ego. I ain't doing that. And I'm not scared of doing that anymore. If you disrespect me, trust and believe I'm checking you. I checked somebody who was one of Seth's friends 3 weeks ago because he said some off the wall shit to me. And I literally said to him privately, didn't make it a big situation. I was just like, listen, you work with my boss, right? If he respects me, you don't think that you should respect me too? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'll never do it. And I'm like, cool. He unfollowed me. I don't give a fuck. I unfollowed you right the fuck back. You ain't about to disrespect me. I don't care if you worked for Diddy. I don't care. I have friends that work for Diddy too, and they never once disrespected me. You can't take the immaturity and the ego of a man just because you want to get somewhere. It's hard work at the end of the day. And if he wants to close the door on you, there's going to be someone else that's going to open it for you.
It's really sad how there's so much insecurity in this world, and it's just people trying to elevate. We're not back in the 1920s where women couldn't vote. We're allowed to vote now. Hell, we have a woman, an African American woman vice president.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why are we not accepting this more? And including people, because we're in a time where there's racism, there's mental stigma, there's everything. Why are we still here trying to hurt each other? Over what? A paycheck?
Hurt people hurt people. It's people that have never experienced attention before or the respect before that act out on their ego, like, oh, I'm in this position now, I'm going to hit on whatever girl I want and she's just going to sit there and take it. I ain't the one.
First of all, we all know that half of these guys' game is fucking corny as hell. Let's just be
So
straight.
corny.
Fucking
So
corny
corny.
as hell.
If you didn't have your position, if you didn't have your money, ain't nobody looking at you, and then they feel entitled for that. You're still trash.
And they're not cute half the time.
Oh, don't get me. Trust
And,
me.
and no, but that's the worst part. Then they judge us. Because I remember I had two situations, but I keep talking about this first one all the time because it's just too funny. So I'm not even going to go to that. So someone hits me up saying, first of all, like, I like to be a tomboy. I'll
Right.
put some makeup on, whatever. But you can also see through my pictures. I can slay.
Period.
So someone goes to me when they saw me looking like this. Oh, are you a lesbian? And I'm like, why you asked that? Because I didn't say it. Because you asked me to suck your dick and I said no. And then you see me looking like this. I was like, oh, I just never see you with pictures of your relationships. And I'm like, I'm in the media. Even if I'm not in the same level you are, I don't need to go and show who the fuck I'm fucking, who I'm man, woman, who's twat. I mean, I don't need to show you that.
Right. Period.
So it's just, and then on top of that, it's like, yo, bro, you don't even look good. And then you're calling me an ugly for.
That's how I feel, because a lot of people would be like, oh, where's your man? You don't post your man, blah, blah, blah. And for me, I'm the type of girl that if I do have a man, he's gonna be up in my stories. Not
What?
so much my actual page. And even then, because I share so much of my life with the like I was just complaining to you earlier this morning. Damn, I want to be private, but I can't, because
Yeah.
it's just not really an option for me, because it messes so much of the dynamic up of what I do. For me, it's like I share so much of my life with you. I share my struggles, I share my bad days, I share my good days, I share my rape stories, I share my fucking domestic violence stories. I share every single emotion, every single thing I can possibly share with the world, because I'm authentic and I want people to be able to understand that I'm transparent and you can talk to me about whatever, because I'm not ashamed of what I go through. If I love something, if I love someone, I might want to flex a little bit here and there and put them up on the story, but my relationship doesn't define me. And why do I have to share my man with you? He's
Like,
mine.
you try to fuck him? Because that's why you asking me about it.
Like, there's an experiment, right? And it's where you kind of tag your significant other and it looks like it's a regular tag when actually it's a poll. Okay, there's a way to hide. There's a way to hide the other option of the poll. And if you put up on your story and you tag your man or your woman, and people click on it because people are very nosy, you get to see the names of everybody that tried to find out who your significant other is. For what reason? I don't know. Listen, if my girl posts up her man, happy for you. I'm so glad that you're in a good
Yeah,
space. But I'm not going to add my bitch's man. I'm not going to click and, like, when I meet him, I'm gonna meet him because that's my girl. In other words, if that's not your friend, why are you creeping on someone else's significant other? Leave mine out of it.
Preach, girl, preach.
I'm just saying.
It's just like we've become so, maybe because it's been the virus, with the virus and everything going around. I'm not saying the virus is making people nosy. I just feel like,
They've always been nosy.
no, they've always been nosy, but now because they have the
Better.
ample free time, it's like, hey, let me find out what this girl is doing, because now she's making more moves and she's taking care of herself, or she lost 15 pounds, yada, yada, yada. Okay, you know how many times I post shit up on my stories, and you look at my stories, so you know that I'm either a clown,
Right.
talking some shit, or I'm promoting something.
Right.
So one day I was like, fuck it. I'm bored. I smoked a J. I was like, let me find out who's really nosy and who fucks with me, right? So I put something about, going away this weekend, and I put the devil face. And I got about 10 hit upset. So when did you get a man? Or the best part was, did you finally bag that female that looked like the bottle girl from the club? Yeah.
But why does everything have to revolve around a man? Why can't I just go away for the weekend and want to get into some shit with my girls? Why? What's the problem? What if I want to act up with my bitches? What's the problem? I have to
It
have a
was Valentine's
time.
Day the other day. Like, Valentine's, you get your friends. And I'm so happy this year on Valentine's, while we still had our normal fuck love, this and that bullshit. Listen, I've had those moments, fuck love. There's a whole song for it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I saw something I never saw before, and that was a lot of Valentine's Day posts. A
Yeah.
lot of a lot of females going with their friends,
Mm-hmm.
empowering each other. There were some that did little lingerie parties. They were so confident in themselves, and that's something I haven't seen ever.
Mm-hmm.
So that made me happy. Even I got a little dressed up, whatever. Threw that makeup on, made myself feel good. So on FaceTime with my best friend, she's like, "All right, you need to fix this up a little bit for yourself." You
That's why they've been saying females don't even cry about breakups anymore.
they
We
just move on.
just we just get back to hustling, continue hustling, I should say, continue living our lives and minding our motherfucking business and moving the fuck on.
Is it true though? Like when they say, like, how they have the memes when you're in a relationship with someone, you don't move on when the breakup is. You move on like before it, once, because your heart feels it first.
Yes,
I
especially
feel
for
like
women.
I think it's so true.
It's true for women. If a woman is constantly telling you, "Hey, I want these things, provide them for me." And I'm not talking about material things. I'm talking about attention, effort, time, basic shit. If a woman continues having to repeat herself, trust and believe eventually her heart's going to walk away before her physical body ever does. She might, cry here and there, a day or two, a couple days, but when she is out of that detachment funk phase, when she's like, when she's like over here and he's over here and they're not like this anymore, you start to begin to realize, yo, what am I doing? Like, I've been asking you to fix certain things for so long. I'm done asking. I'm going to fix it myself and dip. Because what you won't do, another man is going to do. There's another man praying for someone just like you, or another woman, or whatever it is. Or you could just have enough. I don't need you to love me. I love myself. You can't add to that? Get out. Go. Whatever.
And please, man, we're not doing this to bash you guys. We're just trying to spread a message at this point that, one, we are your equals, whether you like it or not. We could do the same thing you do and probably even better for a better salary. Um, listen, we all you've seen it. You've seen the discrimination we get. Um, but it's also going to show you that while you think she's tweaking out when she's upset, listen to her because a lot of us survivors still go through the anxiety. It's been 10 years, and even doing the video, do you know how many times I stopped? Like, it was really, it's a trying thing. It's just like you still don't know who to trust sometimes.
Right.
And that's just living in New York, and then you have that extra burden.
New York is just so destructive.
You would
New
think,
York, New Jersey, we have such a destructive mindset sometimes.
and it's like they tell you to man up, and it's like, no, don't tell me to man up. If I'm coming to you and I'm telling you I'm hurting, I need somebody, be there for me. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you turn me away and I go silent and I do my own shit, best believe I'm never asking you for help again.
Yes, same.
And you lose that person. And that's what people don't understand. Stop preaching about how you're so enlightened, then listen to the person that's talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
What have you learned, though, through the beast within, through going through this process, both through your trauma and making this?
It's hard. It's it's not easy. There are days when I have to sit there by myself and not really speak to anybody because I just take so much on. Between me sharing my story, then me talking to other women sharing their story. And this is a daily basis thing for me, whether it's emails, DMs, voice messages. Like, there's a lot of women that reach out to me and I love it and it's so rewarding for me. But understand that I had to learn I can't always be the empowered survivor all the time. I'm human. There are times when I just want to curl up in a corner with my blankets on in a movie and my phone all the way across the room and recharge. And what I learned is boundaries. The beast within helped me establish so many boundaries. I'm going to say no. And I'm going to tell you straight up, I don't want to go there because that's not what I'm here for. Or I'm going to tell you I'm having a mental health day. Don't bother me. And if you cross these boundaries, for me, it's kind of like you don't have respect for me that you're going to interrupt my mental health day for whatever it is that you need because you can't understand that I need to recharge. But let the tables be turned and all hell breaks loose. I had a situation where my father was in and out of the hospital and he wasn't feeling well. And I've had friends literally text me and be like, well, what about me? Me. Bitch, I don't give a fuck about you right now. Like, that's my daddy. And I had to learn boundaries. And what the beast within taught me is to reinforce your boundaries. And I don't care what you think anymore. I don't care if you think that I'm selfish, because you know what? At one point in time, I gotta put myself first. The only person I come behind is God. That's the only person I'm ever gonna put my pride aside to and sit here and talk to and ask for. Like, God comes first, I come second in my life. So when friends are going through things or whatever, and you go quiet because you need that time, it's okay. Stop guilt tripping yourself. You can't be Superman all the time. You can't be an empowered survivor all the time, because if I keep doing that, I'm depleting myself.
You're
And the
gonna
more I deplete myself, I can't help anybody. I can't pour from an empty cup. So all these survivors coming to me don't get the best effort from me, which is why boundaries is super important. And that's why I'm trying to teach women from the beast within, reinforce those boundaries. You shouldn't care who's getting offended, because at the end of the day, if they are your friend and they actually care about you, they're not going to be offended. They're going to get it.
and then that what you just said, right, about not just empowering, to take your time to empower yourself. It's also a health aspect into it. I'm reading a book, and it's all the way over there where I would go grab it. It's called when the body says no, right? So emotions and stress come in three levels. The stress that comes from here, the stress that comes from here, and it has a negative effect into the body because remember our brain leads to the receptors and secretes stuff. So it goes all the way into everything. There's a level of hormones also that go in that could become unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just about our mental health at this point, it's also about our physical health. This is how people get heart attacks, this is how people get ulcers. It's not just the genetic. you know I put these chemicals in my body and that's why I'm sick. No, it also starts from here, starts from here, starts from everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And if you
Mental
put
exhaustion.
it exactly, the lack of rest, the lack of everything. So if you don't take care of yourself first, you're not going to be able to empower people.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I've been trying to tell everybody. Whether you are an empower, like your mission is to empower people, or whether you just wanna, or whether you just have your own business, I should say. It's okay to take a day or two off and not feel guilty about it. It's okay to not look at your phone and not look at emails and this, then it's okay. Stop beating yourself up over taking care of yourself. That's why I hate the narrative of, oh, get up and go get it no matter how you feel. No, that's not realistic. I'm not saying to wallow in your pain for like 2 weeks straight and ignore your responsibilities, but I am saying you need to take a day, take a day. You need to take 2 days, take 2 days, you know?
Yeah. So when you asked the survivor when you asked for the survivor videos, you told them, oh, hold on, we have a question from Red Couch. Have you noticed an increase in mental health declining during the pandemic?
Yes. Nobody's mental health is stable right now. Not 100% stable. There's,
Oh, hold on. They said men's mental health. I'm sorry.
well, yeah, it's the same. It goes for men and women. It's not the same. It's since this pandemic happened, everybody has been suffering from mental health issues. Whether you're a woman, whether you're a man, you have to, we're in a pandemic. We don't know what's going to happen to our jobs in 2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 days. We don't know anything. We don't know when the government wants to shut down. We don't know how we're going to feed our families. If it, it's a lot of stress. So, like I said, I am coming out with more material for men's mental health that kind of, but mental health in general, everyone's suffering from it. So that's why it's like, be kind. Not just because you think somebody's going through something, but be a decent human being.
And it's funny, a lot of people were only decent during the pandemic, and now a lot of people are going into their asshole mode. Like, really? So it took almost, what are we, in the millions now, or still top thousands?
It's, well, the pandemic started what, in March?
Yeah.
It's about to be a year.
So we're talking about over thousands, millions of people died. So it took that for you to happen, for you to have some type of heart. And then when it was over, when it's claimed to be over, you're back being an asshole. You're still trying to cheat people. You're still trying to make them feel like shit. Why? Then you clearly haven't learned anything. But before the question came, we talked. You had the survivors that submitted videos to you talk about their journey and how their journey impacted their business now. How did your journey impact you as an assistant or just your overall goals?
How did my story help me?
Yes.
Well, like I said, it comes with learning not to hate myself and learning to love myself more and applying that positive energy to everything I do. There's not a single way that I make income that I don't love. When it comes to being executive assistant for DJ Sus One, love my job. Editor in chief of the feature presentation, love my job. Public relations, marketing, and social media for Bentley's restaurant, love my job. And it comes, once again, it comes from self love and understanding that you can do anything that you want to do. Before this pandemic, I was so stressed out because my main source of income is bartending. I Where am I bartending at right now? Nowhere. Because you can't even sit at the bar. So it's like,
You can take it to go.
right, but that's not, you know what I'm saying? So the beast within, like I said, it just, it helped me learn to love myself and not, I'm not talking about appearance and accepting how I look. I'm talking about doubting myself and standing in my own way and sitting here missing every single shot that I didn't take. Now it's just like, fuck that. I'm taking all these shots. And within this week alone, because The Beast Within hasn't even launched for a full week yet. And I already have publications reaching out like, hey, I want to do a feature on you. Hey, I want to write about you. Hey, I want you on my podcast. Hey, I want you on my show. Because this is my mission. So for me, and I say this is my favorite quote in the world. When you walk within your purpose, God and the universe will align itself to accommodate you. But what's your purpose? Are you praying? Are you talking to God? Are you listening when He's speaking to you? When you're up at 3, 4 a.m. and you don't freaking know why, are you listening to Him? That's my message for The Beast Within and how it's helped me.
With so I do see on the website you did have classes. You're also working on the camp. Is this going to be virtual?
We are aiming for it to be virtual until COVID lifts. Hopefully we get to launch it in March. That is the goal. It's, we're trying to come up with effective ways where women can log in at their convenience and go over the steps towards self-defense classes with a partner. Yeah, with a partner, because you can't do it by yourself. But, but it's in the comfort of your own home with whoever you choose to do it with. And I just feel like it's a need, because when I started taking self-defense classes, I started feeling better about myself, because I don't care if I'm a 5'1" little Asian girl. Like, I can turn around and I could break your fucking nose. I could turn around and break your fucking leg if you try to come to me crazy. I know how to protect myself. And that's what self-defense is, protecting yourself. I'm not out here trying to look for a fight. Like, that's not in my DNA to do that. But if someone tries to hurt me, I know I can protect myself. And that's so important for all women, especially with this crazy ass world that we're in.
Yeah. Without the beast within, without pain and power, who would you be?
I'd be lost. I wouldn't know who I'd be. My movement is based around my personal experiences and the women around me. My movement is literally what made me want to teach other women how to love themselves. Not really teach them, because only they can do it, but kind of sort of guide them and be like, hey, we're going to do this today, and we're not going to live in this emotion anymore. We're going to try to elevate. So I don't know who I would be, to be honest. I would probably be just another media personality, and that doesn't sit well with me.
I want to first and foremost thank you for encouraging me to tell my story. You got me a whole teary eyed right here too.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's very hard, even with all the confidence I have now in myself, to really go and talk about it, because it is such a sensitive topic. It caused like so much destruction in my life, you know, and part of that destruction came because I didn't want to take care of myself. I didn't accept the negative influences that were in my life, and a lot of those were considered family after it happened. You know, I thank you for giving this platform to women as well as men to express themselves, whether it is based on their stigma, on the mental stigma itself, or just based on what they went through, because no one should feel like they're alone. No one should feel like they've been abandoned. And I don't know about you, but just growing up in general, like I didn't have my dad. My dad passed away when I was 7. So everything that happened to me, and as you could tell, you'll see, you saw in my survivor video, it came from me not knowing about my family. It's pretty much a giant betrayal on that end that led to something bigger. Um, and I hope that a lot of people, if they could take anything from this interview and from this, is that one, you're not alone. Two, you are special in whatever way you think. And three, it's really okay to not be okay. I want to thank you just for being the survivor you are and everything you do. Um, because if there wasn't people like you, the world would be in trouble. The world's already in trouble. But if we don't have people doing that little piece of something, we'd be screwed. So please plug everything in.
Oh,
And
you got me emotional.
yeah, I'm trying not to be emotional.
Um, uh, it's your girl Amber Lay. My website is www.thebeastwithin.co. It's not .com, it's .co. I did it
Because
for
we
a
fancy, we're
reason.
pinky up.
Huh?
We're fancy, we're pinky up.
Yeah, it's .co, not a .com. My Instagram is at made in Vietnam __, 2 underscores, and then the Beast Within is at the Beast Within __. I'm gonna have new podcast episodes out under the new name. There's going to be a lot of new content, self-defense classes, healing circles, survivor stories, support groups, whatever it is. Trust and believe, I'm definitely working on it, and announcements will be coming really soon. And I thank you so much for allowing me to come on your platform and share, my emotions, my story, and everything. It's an honor, and I thank you so much.
No, thank you. So I'm gonna end this live, guys. Please follow us everywhere at Ivy Productions. Stay on though. I want to take a quick snap, screenshot since we don't have pictures. So again, follow us everywhere at Ivy Productions. Follow Raw Zone. Follow me, Ray Pearson, Michael Bostic, Lev Johnson. The other day, whoever else is everywhere is doing their thing. Next week we got Andre M. Faria talking about Sixth Sense Entertainment and the art of business, because clearly a lot of people don't know how to do business. And on that note,
Oh, they don't.
and on that note, peace, blessings, and love, everyone.